So we'll bring it to Massachusetts. What projects have you been working on in this area?
Here?
Yeah.
You mean right here?
Is this your first experience in Massachusetts making art?
This is my first experience in Massachusetts making art.
Awesome.
I'm very happy to be here. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at the Newport Jazz Festival,
photographing
artists because I work with this artist, Cey Adams, and he was playing there, so I went to, support him and see a bunch of art. And now I'm here. It's very exciting.
So Brian, you've been in the blazing sun for the last few days.
Does it show?
Yeah, a little crispy. A little crispy.
Good.
So could you tell us about what work you're working on right now on the back of the Chamber of Commerce building in downtown facing William Street?
Yeah, I'm working on an aggressively large mural of Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Jean-Michel Basquiat, tell us why that subject matter.
Do we have to do this? Because I went over this. All right. It just seems appropriate for what we're doing, for what Third Eye's doing, for what Superflat's about. It's like you just seem like a perfect subject. Graffiti artist, just the guy with a can that kind of flipped the world upside down as far as art's concerned. And it's like what we're trying to do to flatten the playing field, level the playing field for everybody that's going to take in art around here. It's kind of representative of that, that progression.
His entrance into the art world.
Yeah,
from the ground up.
It's the story's cool. Like he was just a kid with a can, and then he's like one of the most famous artists in the world.
Right.
So it's like that. I don't know. I just kind of dig it.
Sweet.
And it's fun to paint.
Silence all our ringers in the audience if we can. And MCA, tell us your experience with the world of music, street art. How has your path come to help us here at Superflat? He's going to be working on an image, collaborating with Miss Janette here on a Jungle Brothers photo. Tell us a little bit about your journey through the art world.
Well, I've always drawn since I was a little kid. My grandfather was a painter and artist. So I've always drawn. I was more drawn towards like cartoon characters and that whole thing. And then, of course, I was drawn to punk rock, early hip hop, graffiti, all that stuff. I used to do zines where I met a lot of bands. So I also take photos at the shows, interview them. I would do drawings of them for the zine. So I tried to mix it all together. So being a part of this, like I knew Jeremiah from Ugly Gallery. We did a lot of stuff together, so I was kind of psyched to be included. And it'll be awesome to work on the Jungle Brothers photo. It's an awesome photo.
Thank you.
I try to come up with some cool ideas so I can kind of, add to it the best I can. But yeah, my whole life I've been always like, I'm going to a punk rock show tonight. I went to one last night.
Awesome.
So
you don't quit. I see you on the social media.
Like I went to see Agent Orange last night and Gangrenes tonight. So so that's my fun. Like I think just going out to shows, the energy. My day job is making gravestones, which is one energy, and then the other energy is I like to do my artwork and go to shows and take photos and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know if that answered anything that you asked me, but
No, I think it's a good conversation starter for
yeah,
sure.
there you go.
So Cey Adams has joined us. I didn't know if he was going to come down off the wall to hang out.
Ask.
I figured, let the artist do what he's really loves to do. But Cey, thank you for joining us. We appreciate having you and Janette both here in our city, sharing what you do and sharing your love for art. So our backdrop is this mural that Cey's been working on for the last couple days. And I don't know if you can see from your Facebook Live or whatever outlet you're on, but there's a graphic image of the word love back there. And I think it's a beautiful homage to what this city needs most. But I'll let Cey talk about what has inspired him all along and where you've gone, where you've been, how you got here, and what you're doing. That's a lot. I know.
Well, why don't we just start with the love mural? I started doing these murals maybe about 5 years ago, and started in Omaha, Nebraska. And the original idea was that it was always sort of centered around music. So in Omaha, Nebraska, I did a mural as a tribute to a man named Preston Love. And it just seemed fitting that his name happened to be Love. And I thought it was a universal message that really needs no explanation, but here goes anyway. And then I went to Detroit, Michigan, and I did a mural that said Mighty Love in honor of the Detroit Spinners, who later just became the Spinners. And then I went to Boston, far from here, and I did a love mural as a tribute to Donna Summer. And then last year I went to Lynn, Massachusetts, and did a love mural as well. And I didn't know at the time that I was painting it on a church. And then I later found out that it was a church, and it seemed like a really fitting message. And so I just thought, you know what? I could literally go city to city, door to door, spreading the love. And that was sort of the idea.
Wow.
And something like this for me is a lot of fun because you don't really have to explain to people why you're doing it. And we obviously are living in a time where we need more love than ever before. And I think it's a lot of fun to work with local people to deliver this message. And it's something that, you know, everybody can relate to. And I think that that's sort of the idea. I want the colors to be bright, I want it to be bold, and I want it to be big. And I really want to knock people over with this idea of a message that really is universal, and that's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Cey won't tell you himself, but he's designed and worked with typography and art for as long as the day is. So,
If you're gonna say it like that, maybe I should handle it.
yeah.
You know,
That's what we're here for.
What Jay is trying to say is, I started out my career as a graffiti artist, what feels like a million years ago, and then I became a graphic designer and then later a creative director, and I ran the art department for Def Jam Recordings, and that was where I sort of got my chops and my love for typography and graphic design. And after doing that for a very long time, I moved into advertising and working with brands and things. And so now I spend a lot of my time making art and really just sort of doing what I love to do, which is making paintings and painting murals and traveling and getting an opportunity to connect with young people and really just preaching the gospel of hip-hop. And it's one of the cool things about working with Janette is that we're from the same generation, and we sort of love, you know, traveling the country and explaining to people how important these artists are that we worked with such a long time ago, and a lot of them are still friends. And that's really the essence of what we're trying to do, is to explain to young people that hip-hop is not an old art form. It's only 45 years old. And to them, that might seem like an eternity, but if you're an adult, you know, it's nothing compared to how old rock and roll is, and then jazz and blues and so on. But the idea that we were a part of something that became so special is really an amazing thing. And to be able to sit here firsthand and watch somebody making a painting of Jean-Michel and knowing that he was a friend of mine and he's no longer here, and his influence is being felt some 30-odd years later after his passing, is a really cool thing. And that's the essence of what this whole festival is about for me, is connecting with people that might not know my history, but they know Jean-Michel or they know Keith Haring, and just sort of reminding them of what kind of people they were, separate from the icons that they've become.
And they weren't famous when I took that picture of LL Cool J that she's putting up right now. I mean, he wasn't famous. That was, you know, Yeah,
he
a
looks
little
like
kid.
17.
I mean, I took his first press photo, and he was 17.
No
And,
way.
You know, back in the day, we didn't make. It wasn't about the money. We weren't making huge amounts of money when you take these photos. They weren't making huge amounts of money. They were doing it out of the passion and the love for what they wanted to do. And I think, you know, to Cey's point, to explain to young folk, you know, that kind of passion to have for culture or for a genre, for art, for music, all of that, which, you know, people need to know.
I think you'll see a real representation of that love for the culture tomorrow, Saturday. Make sure you come out for the Third Eye Open. It's their 20th year in business, and what the Third Eye Open does is celebrates the hip hop culture in all of its forms: dance, art, music. So there's going to be 60 or so acts throughout the day. There's a basketball tournament in the morning at the Freestones parking lot. If you're around, there'll be some graffiti going on adjacent to Custom House Square behind the Chamber building. There'll be 9 graffiti artists painting some live art there. We have some artists coming in that we've selected to work with Janette's imagery to kind of take react and interact with her photos that are quite amazing, being printed up and pasted to boards at 8 foot by 8 foot. So I think it's going to be a true celebration of what hip hop means to New Bedford. And the larger conversation of celebrating all of the elements of what hip-hop is. It's been a festival that's been kind of a cornerstone of bringing the community together, and I think integrating what Superflat is trying to do with bringing art to the community in a real way to flatten the barrier to access to art is really going to be something special, and something we're looking forward to growing this relationship.